All right, how's it going? Made our way inside here. Here we go. I didn't say anything.
What did you see as the difference in the two halves last week of being able to kind of finish drives and stuff like that in the second half compared to the first last week?
Yeah, I think last week we did a good job of creating explosives. Still want to look for areas of improvement in third down overall, and then I think just in the second half, just keep playing football, keep playing football. I thought Gino and the rest of the offense did a great job of that, and then as the tide started to change towards the end and getting points on those last three drives, obviously leading to the victory, was important for us. I thought it was great for our confidence and great for our offense moving forward.
Do you ever notice Gino getting frustrated at all when things aren't maybe going quite as smoothly? Or
Yeah, I don't know if frustration is the right word. It's more the competitive nature of wanting to score every time you have the ball. That is the goal of the offense, but also knowing that we're playing against some great defenses around the league, and it might not play out that way every single drive. So how do you harness that want to and expectations of scoring every drive to then also, if it doesn't work out on a particular drive, get to the sideline, hit reset, learn from what happened on that drive, and then apply it to the next one moving forward.
We've seen Jackson Smith particularly really involved in short passing game screens. What about his skill set is for those type of plays?
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job, especially on the shallow cross he caught on the first third down of the game, of really being able to catch the ball grounded, accelerating up the field, getting the yards after the catch, finishing strong at the end of the run. And I think Jackson's just done a great job of improving every single week, really getting a great handle on the offense, the timing and the rhythm of the pass game and how he fits into that. And it's just showing up week to week now with his ability to let his skill set shine on the game day.
Do you feel like you guys are feeling the screen game a little bit better at this point too? That with just kind of the way it's kind of coming together, you've had some successful ones here the last few weeks, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think as far as complementary football in terms of different offensive plays, I think having a screen game is always going to be something we're striving for. We've worked hard at it to improve it. It has worked out the last few weeks, and then just depending on what defensive structure we're going against or what may present a positive look for a screen, just working on those and working on the execution. But like the rest of our offense, whether it's the run game, the pass game, play actions, keepers, having all those things at our disposal and being balanced and then utilizing them at the right time, I think is the most important thing. And it's been nice to see a few screens hit, over the last few weeks.
The 25 combined carries, Walker and Charbonnet, is that sustainable? Is that a goal that you now can build on?
Yeah, I think it was great to get that balance, let both guys get their touches. I think it's hard to put a goal on every single game because the games might play out a little different. Even this past one where it felt like we were getting some runs going, you still have multiple 2-minute type of drives within those games. But yeah, getting a good mix of those guys. They both bring a great skill set. Both deserve touches. Both deserve to get a chance to make plays within the game. So getting the guys involved like the rest of our offense, whether it's the wide receivers, tight ends. The more guys that we can get involved every single game, feels like then we have a good balance and a good attacking mindset on offense.
Have you ever set a number, like, go back later and look like 60% runs, 40%, 60% pass, 40% run, or anything like that, or do you just?
Yeah, I think we going with more an idea and knowing that, hey, in certain scenarios, whether it's first, second down, having our idea what we would like to be in that sense in that game. But each game that might change depending on the fronts or the defensive structures we're going against, and then as the game evolves, adapting and adjusting during the game as well.
I think it's fifth fewest carries in the league for you guys. Is that a problem, or do you think that's more of how games have just gone?
I think it's a combination. I think some of the games have gone that way where we've had some extended 2-minute drives, especially looking back at the Baltimore game where we end up throw heavy at the second half of that game. But our goal is to get that number up and get to be a more balanced offense. I think for us, overall, each individual game has had its good and had its bad, and we've had a couple of the games offensively this year where we've lived in the wrong extreme. Playing catch up, even looking at the second half of our game against the Rams week 1, where we have the 3 and outs and don't get enough runs. I think those run totals are really a product, like I've mentioned before, of third downs, of our execution throughout the 4 quarters of the game, and with our goal to be balanced. And in order to do that, we have to do a good job of holding the bargain on offense and scoring consistently throughout the game.
Is there a certain amount of yardage number you need to get to 100 that you're comfortable with? Because you had 99 last time. Is there a certain number, or?
Yeah, I think that the 100 always sounds better just to get to that century mark. But I think the even distribution, how the game plays out, the number of carries, the time of possession, which again can go both ways in the time of possession world, because if you're scoring and you're explosive, you might not possess the ball that game. But in a perfect world, yeah, you do want to get over the 100 yards. You do want to get that time of possession up. You do want to have more carries, I think. But each individual game is going to play out, and I still think obviously the winning the game is going to take precedence over anything that happens. So whatever we need to do week in and week out on offense, the main goal is to get the victory.
You look at this defense, of course, you're going to look at Aaron Donald, but what about Byron Young? Because he's gotten in the backfield an awful lot this year.
Yes.
How is he doing that?
Yeah, I think he's done a great job. I think, a lot of it obviously plays off of the focus that Aaron is able to get. And so whether it's Young or Hoyt or all their other guys that are rushing the passer with their games that they present, doing a really good job knowing and respecting Aaron, but also respecting the other guys that are part of the rush package, including Byron there, that have done a good job of getting home. So for us, it's that focus, that commitment to our communication, how we're handling those different pass rushing situations, and then also, like I said, not getting out of line because you're so focused on one individual who's obviously deserves the attention, has earned every single bit of respect that he's gained around the league.
Going back to Jackson, the first third down play, the crosser, you mentioned that he stayed on his feet there. It seems like the tendency a lot of times is for receivers to jump even when they don't have to. Is that like a common coaching point?
Yeah, I think, the ability of different receivers, like to me, staying grounded, being able to play with your feet in the ground as much as possible is a great trait. And I think part of that is when your catch transition happens, are you able to catch the ball with, 1 foot on the ground that leads to 2, 3, and now you're instantly transitioning? Or is there certain scenarios in traffic where guys might jump to protect themselves, but as many times as we can, catching the ball grounded with that ability to instantly transition, it's really something that Jackson's showed to be a unique skill set that he has.
The second to last drive for you guys, a touchdown drive. We saw 4 catches for Lockett, including the touchdown. It was a game winner in Detroit. It seems like so often a big third down, big late game, it's Tyler Lockett getting the ball. What is it about his game that he's good in this situation?
Well, I think the first is Gino's unique trust in Tyler, and it seems to me like in a lot of those clutch situations, his ability to just win, to figure out a way, whether it's a sideline catch where his feet are inbounds, even if everyone around the stadium is kind of wondering, it's just, hey, he's always in. That's the starting point. And I think that confidence that Gino has in Tyler through the hard work and through the resume that he's able to put out there, I think gives everyone the confidence that he's going to come through in those most crucial of situations.
Gino said when you guys are assessing the offense, and third down in particular, you guys are process over results. Why is it important to look at it that way?
I think for us, because every third down, there's not this one over, umbrella policy on third downs that this is what it is, right? Every third down play is such an individual entity. There's 11 guys that are committed to that play, and, breakdown might occur here or there. One play that's totally, different from the next play right there. So I think making sure that our process is right, starting with our communication up front, starting with our protection plan, and then to the route depths, the route timing, to Gino's decision making, to Gino's process in what he's going through. And I think in my mind, because a few of the third downs you might luck out on something. It might be, hey, something flashed or something that happened and you maybe got away with the throw, and you're happy about that. Obviously you want to convert and keep going, keep the drive alive, but the process would say, hey, that was a risky throw. That's not really where the read would have taken you. Okay, let's go ahead and look through it for the next time. And then there could also be a similar third down where you go through everything perfectly and the ball might get tipped at the line of scrimmage or something went wrong right there. So to me, that's the process over the results of those. And if we're doing it the right way, over the long stretch of the season, we'll be happier with the outcome than if we're just, using hope as a method just because something worked out nice, maybe out of the clear blue sky.
Do you have time to go over stuff like that in the game, or you do that just after?
Yeah, I think that's one thing that Coach Olson and Coach Joseph do a great job, and then I'll jump in there too in between getting the next drives ready is recapping the previous drive. And again, you can't go back and change the plays, but you can instantly learn from them, especially those third down plays where you're going through the surface right there and talking about the detail, what happened, why'd it happen, okay, good clear communication, and then be able to move on to the next series.
What have you thought of the process when you guys are third down?
Yeah, I think the process has been there. I think the guys are bought in. Everything's where we want it to be, and I think for us, it's living in the. Some games we've had really positive results on third down. Other games, it's dipped a little bit, and I think for us, just making sure that are we on the details, and we talked about that 2 weeks ago, coming back and the basics of everything that we're doing. I think just harping on that. No different than the screen game, no different than the red zone. First and second down, I think if we're good on the details and the fundamentals, then the results will come.
What Brett Rippon was saying when he was at the Rams, what really impressed him with McVay is how well he knew defenses and knew defensive responsibilities and where this guy might go on this formation. But how much did you learn that from him, and how much of that is a big part of today's play calling?
Yeah, I think it's a big part of what Sean's been able to do. I go back, I think, different experiences, different stops in coaching. When you're able to really learn the other side of the ball, I think it's important as an offense for now and as an offensive play caller, but even going back to being a position coach, having the experience, like for me when I was a quality control coach for Josh McDaniels and learned a ton about defensive football from him as he was on the other side of the ball. I think Sean has a unique ability to really, like right when we got there when it was Wade Phillips as a D coordinator, I'm sure it's the same now with Raheem, where he's able to really understand and digest the full defensive structure of the Rams defense, not just being in there as an offensive coordinator. You really saw that right away with Sean, and I thought it was something even in the Washington days with him, when Joe Barry was the D coordinator, Sean knew all the calls there, and he's really done a good job of that. So for me, it's really opened my eyes to really understanding how important that is as an offensive coach, making sure that you're really up to date, whether it's your own defense that you're going against, understanding their calls, understanding the things that they're going to look to bring to the table, and then throughout the league. I think that looking at it through the defense's lens is just as important as anything we can do.
How do you do that? Do you do that off season because you don't have time for game planning and coaching your own guys?
Yeah, I think really it's a good thing in the off season. When you're battling against your own defense, over and over again, you start to get a feel of the structure there. And then I think it's putting the defenses in different families. Throughout the course of the league, there's different coordinators that come from different trees, and figuring out, okay, what style of defense does this week go into, and then as you build up, accumulate the years, right, you start to understand what family are you going against this week, what were some of the tips and notes from this, maybe not that exact defense, but someone that's in that tree or in that system that you've played in the past.
What is it about Jason Peters' play that made you guys comfortable running him as much as you did last week, and kind of the time that you've seen him play over these last few games?
Yeah, I think, when Jason first got here, the person was unbelievable. His willingness to help, his willingness to just get in here and fit right in with the Seahawks and with the culture here. But then as he gets on the field more and more, you really just see his unbelievable athletic ability start to shine. And I think, this past week was a great example of it. I think age is just a number for him, and, his ability to move, his foot speed combined with his power is still at a high level right there. So puts it on tape, and now it's just exciting to see him as he keeps growing and developing it in our system.
What did you think when you see Zach lower his shoulder into the guy, but he doesn't get out of bounds?
Yeah, there's a time and a place. Sometimes the end of those game situations there, we know, hey, you do want to get out of bounds. There's certain times, like when Noah, a couple weeks back, is able to cut back against the grain and gain a bunch of extra yards. DK did an unbelievable job at the end of the game, but I think there are some times where you can pick and choose when's the time to get what you can get and maybe not get out of bounds, and other times when Zach's had some success running a few folks over this year, so maybe that's not the ideal time to run someone over, but don't want to take away from his playmaking ability, but he'll learn and keep growing in those scenarios.
Does this style remind you of anyone? Zach's?
Does Zach's style? Oh man, pick a back that's run somebody over, and I do think you got some of those throwback Adrian Peterson runs where he's finishing lowering his shoulder and staying in that slasher run style there. But, I think he's his own guy. He's his own player. He brings a lot of combination of some different guys, but that obviously the physical finishes will remind you of any of those type of guys.
Anything else, guys? Thank you.
All right.